Bacon. You like bacon? How about hash browns? We are making Mountain Man breakfast. This throws everything into the pot and comes out with a stick to your ribs breakfast. It's sure to please. Let's get everything together and make it right now. All right, here we go. So the first thing we need is some potatoes. 1 pound of shredded potatoes. I took a shortcut and I just bought a bag of pre-shredded ones. Some bacon. Of course you need bacon. 1 pound of bacon. We're going to cut that up. Some sausage. Some breakfast sausage. Or even just some ground pork if that's all you got. And of course cheese. I'm using pepper jack and extra sharp cheddar. Ooh, this should be good. We're also going to need a bunch of eggs. I think that's 5 or 6. A green pepper. A roasted Pablano, which we're going to do ourselves. And some onions. Sounds good to me. Step 1. Let's get our bacon ready. So I've got a baking sheet with some parchment paper and our hash browns. So this is an optional one. I just wanted to kind of get them 3/4 of the way cooked before we put this into the casserole. Plus we needed to roast our Pablano, which I'm going to put it right in the corner there. They're going to go in the oven, 400 degrees. We'll keep an eye on them. I think this is going to work out just fine. Our ground sausage is next. I'm only going to use half a pound because it is, well, the original recipe was double, so everything I've kind of halved. But we're going to put about half into this bowl here. And we're just going to put it aside till we need it. Our onion. 1 onion, chopped. Next up, our green pepper, chopped up, and we put that aside. Our bacon. Now we got to get the bacon into pieces, so I find the easiest way is just chop it up in the package. And that way when you cook it up, it's going to work out just fine. And we're going to end up frying this up. Now the other option too is, since I already had the oven on, I could put all the strips into the oven and let them go that way. But we didn't. So here's our bacon in our frying pan, and we're going to let that cook down. Now this is about 25 minutes later. I did check at around the 15-minute mark and take the Pablano and flip it over. As you can see, it's nice and blistery, which is what we want. And our hash browns are just starting to get brown. Now we'll put this aside till we need it. Here's our bacon. Got lots of bacon grease. You ever save your bacon grease? I was taught that as a kid, long before we had Teflon. But there's our bacon. We're going to need a little bit, but let's cook our pork first. This is ground pork. There is spices you can throw in to make that into nice sausage, you know, like you buy in the store, or you just go to the store and buy the tube of breakfast sausage. I'll put a link below for my video when I made breakfast sausage, and I'll list all the spices out for you. Our hash browns have cooled off. Our Pablano's cooled off. Let's tackle that first. The stem falls off. Now we're just going to peel off all the skin, which, yeah, is okay. We'll get it all. Now the other way to do this too is you can either do it on the barbecue, or if you've got a gas stove, which I don't, you can just kind of fire it up on the gas stove till it starts blistering. But this worked just fine in the oven, but we've chopped it up into smaller pieces. Now a Pablano has, in case you don't know, it's between a pepper and a jalapeno, so it's got a little bit of heat but not too much. Here's our ground pork. Now we're going to give it a little kick. In goes the Pablano. And that's our diced onion and our diced pepper. All that goes in now. And we'll give it a nice mix around. Looking good so far. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, teaspoon-ish to your liking. There, well, that looks good. Let's get this off the stove and let's start building our Mountain Man breakfast. So in goes our pork and peppers and onions. That's layer number 1. Smells good so far. Next up, the hash browns that we mostly cooked. They're on the next layer. And I'm really glad I ended up cooking them because I think it worked out really well. So we're just going to give them a nice mix, 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 mix. Kind of combine them with the meat. Yummy. Looks good, but you know, if I made a full recipe, which is double this, I'd run out of room in that pan for fun. Okay, we'll put this aside. Now, it's not going to be breakfast without some eggs. That's 5 eggs that cracked up. We're just going to mix them all together. Real quick, put them aside, bring our tray back into position. And now we're just going to carefully kind of pour the eggs on top. Try to get them as even as you can. Something like that. There you go. So we got our hash browns, we've got our ground pork, we've got our onions and peppers, and now goes our bacon. Oh yeah. Yeah, you can see where this is going. That looks really good. So now let's get that in the oven. 350 for about 45 minutes. Keep your eye on it. So this is the part where the pepper jack and cheddar cheese should have been sprinkled on before it went in the oven, but I didn't even think of it. So that's okay. What we did was when we serve, we put the cheese on top. So just remember that when you're making it. And when it's done, look at that. Oh, can't wait to dig into this. I definitely need myself a bowl full of cheese. That's a great fill-in breakfast, I think. Hey, another great recipe. I hope you'll give it a try. Leave me a comment below, one way or the other. Listen, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell because that'll tell you the next time I upload a video. Feel free to share this and any of my other videos. And thanks for stopping by and watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.